religions that we are talking about. Islamophobia triggered by the monk that you see on the screen, and it is still going on, and actually the initial riots of 2012 and follow on is caused by his followers. So once we talk about peace building and post-conflict, we are talking also about Islamophobia against Muslims of Myanmar, with particular focus on Rohingyas. 969 movement that many of you are possibly not aware, but let it be very clear that it was Islamophobic and ultra-right-wing nationalist movement in Myanmar, and often we presume that Buddhism has no strand of violence. But here is one of the examples that it is actually one of the most violent ultranational groups. ASEAN Indo-Pacific strategy, my country and others are interested, slowly, especially in the last part, our Prime Minister Trudeau, outgoing Prime Minister, he visited ASEAN, which he typically doesn't do, and spent a couple of days in Laos, and which grows an interesting part of the interest from the West. However, let me quickly start from here and finish it within time, hopefully, is the limitation of track one diplomacy. And we have seen so many examples in the past, including the war on Gaza. Track one diplomacy is highly political, and it is very much geopolitically sensitive. And I do see that there are a number of problems, as I have listed in the screen, the resistance, and especially in the case of Myanmar, the lack of interest of ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. And then you have the interest of big threes, India, China, and Japan. Japan economically mostly, but India and China geostrategically. As you know, Belt and Road Initiative China has launched back in 2013. The Myanmar part, or the Indian Ocean part, has been completed. Now they have extensive presence in Kiat Phua deep sea port and from Arab Sea. So you have that major investment. It's billions of dollars of investment. And of course, India started echoing China that what they could do, and they also built something they call Kaladan Multimodal Project. It's a transport hub from Calcutta, Port of Calcutta, to the south of Sittwe, and then transporting back to north through use of Kaladan. So just so that you know, these are the geopolitical interests against which the humanitarian diplomacy must work. And especially in the humanitarian diplomacy, it is prioritizing human welfare over political interest. It involves both state and non-state actors, and it seeks to bridge between humanitarian aid and development. I know you're wondering, it's a massive task. Actually, it is a massive task, but we have to do it. There is no other way. Track 2 diplomacy, as you mostly know, and I have written in my paper, which I submitted to the director a couple of months ago, is that Oslo and Aceh are the two very close examples that I studied. And Aceh is my primary target now because of some other reasons with regards to Oslo Peace Accord. And in Aceh, you might have witnessed that the peace really hold on as of today. There is no conflict. And it was a decade-long armed conflict with the state of Indonesia, and when Norway mediated with a civil service organization, they actually succeeded. And this is what I'm planning to use in terms of my model. These are political pictures, you can ignore it safely. I'm talking about Marshall Plan. What we are naming in our paper is a mini Marshall Plan for the state of Rakhine. Without Marshall Plan, without addressing poverty, peace will never be sustained. Of course, there are 3 stages or steps that I'm suggesting in my paper, and the concept note that we ought to remember here is that the ceasefire must occur through track 2 diplomacy first, and then the Marshall Plan would unfold in order to alleviate the poverty and underdevelopment, and then the reconciliation might occur. Well, some of the parts might overlap, but this is the sequence I'm suggesting. Here is the model I proposed in my paper, and here you might see that role of civil organized CSOs are very important, and especially I am a Rotarian back in my country, so we are kind of moving through the Rotary channels that we still have in Myanmar working and in some of the ASEAN countries. And I'm not going into details of this model. Hopefully, if the paper is published, you will have more access to the explanation of the gearbox that I just wanted to show you. I was trying to find out a metaphor of using something so that it looks like that one moves other. So in a gear in a car, one moves other. And I was just reminded that I have 3 minutes, precious 3 minutes. So I'll just quickly say that there are challenges, ladies and gentlemen. I am totally aware. But what I'm here today, this morning, is to bring this concept to you. And if it triggers some of your imaginations, if you're interested, please let's work together. Challenges and opportunities, I do see more opportunities and lack of challenges. As human beings, as Homo sapiens, we have dealt with challenges for millennia and millennia. So I'm not very much keen about challenges rather the opportunities. Trudeau is gone, of course, you are aware, but we'll have another administration, and Indo-Pacific strategy that Canada has sustained so far is holding on. And I'm also happy to inform you this morning that I have received funding from Global Affairs Canada for next 2 years to develop a plan based on humanitarian diplomacy and action. And you're most welcome. I'll invite some of you from the Institute, of course, in coordination with the professor here, to visit Ottawa, stay with us a couple of days and talk about your institute, especially conflict and humanitarian studies, because you are doing a wonderful job and we need you very much. Mr. Bob Ray, who is our ambassador and is coming to my city on 29, we have quite a bit of relationship with him, and if you visit our YouTube channel, www.crick.org, you'll find over 45 webinars that we have done on this topic, and we kind of echo from his philosophy.